Another thing that Charlie Blackmon said to us is he said that when baseball and the union gets together, he hopes that the politics don't get in the way. I asked him what he meant by that. He talks money. He said money was the first thing out of his mouth. And then you just said that there appears to be already, even without a lot of details of this plan having leaked out or being known, you said at the top of our conversation about a divide between the union and the folks who are running the sport already. So are these issues connected, John?
Well, I think the divide, first and foremost, economically speaking, is there. It's been reported widely that there's a difference of opinion. Tony Clark has made some comments already, the head of the union, about his view of the interim agreement that was struck in March. Now, the particulars of that are open to interpretation, and not surprisingly, they are being viewed differently by each side. The players say they already agreed to a salary reduction. MLB says that, and this is, I'm paraphrasing here and quoting the reports here, that MLB looks at it and says there was a clause in there that basically says this agreement will go into effect only if and when there are no travel restrictions and fans are back in the ballpark. That's when this agreement of return to play, the framework, would be valid. Obviously, that's not the case right now. We still have restrictions of travel in our country, and most importantly, there will be no fans, at least at the outset, and perhaps not at all.
Yeah.
And that's 40%, Rich, of MLB's revenue. So there has to potentially be, and I think logically one would say, further acknowledgments and changes to the payroll structure and the cost structure of the game, because you're missing 40% of your revenue.
So, John, ballpark it for me, if you don't mind the phrase. What happens now? The conversation between the union and the commissioner and his office and his officers go down today. I imagine it's happening as we speak. What happens?
I believe, Rich, first of all, that we should prepare for a lot of negotiating back and forth, probably some comments on both sides about frustration, because that is a matter of bargaining. That is basically every labor negotiation that you and I have followed in the course of our careers as broadcasters involves some element of that. And so I would expect that and not be surprised by that. I do believe that at the end of the day that both sides will realize the incredible importance in finding a way forward this year, and that there will be an agreement to return to play economically. Now, that's separate from the public health conversation, but that the economics of this, I believe, will be agreed upon. There is simply too much at stake to let economics be the reason you don't return to play. The public health questions are, frankly, so much more important in a broader sense that they could very easily on their own prevent baseball from coming back. But both sides realize they cannot let economics be the reason. I believe there will be an agreement. And then it's going to be a question of a month from now, is it safe to begin spring training? And around the 4th of July, is it safe to begin playing regular season games? That's still about 6 weeks away. And you think back, Rich, 6 weeks ago, our country was in a very different spot. And so when you think about how much our country has changed in a very short amount of time, it's important to realize that the situation could evolve further in the next 6 weeks. And hopefully, I stress, it's in a positive way.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.